Hello students! For today's lesson, we will discuss about the quadratic inequalities. But first, let's review inequalities. Pag sinabi nating inequality, it means that the numbers that we compare are not equal. So we can use the symbols greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, or less than or equal to in comparing numbers. Para mas maintindihan natin, let's have a short activity about inequalities. Supply the proper symbol. So the choices are greater than, less than, or equal. Tatandaan, sa inequality symbols, kung saan naka-open ang ating inequality symbol, yun yung higher number. Okay? So number 1. 435 compared to 710. So, which is higher? Okay, that is 710. Therefore, we have less than. Okay, so 435 is less than 710. Next. 3 times 15 compared to 45. Okay, that is equal. Correct. Because the product of 3 and 15 is 45. And 45 is equal to 45. Next. Okay. We have here 0 compared to negative 1. So, if we have to look at our horizontal number line, si negative 1 ay nasa kaliwa ni 0. So, tatandaan natin, lahat ng nasa kaliwa ni 0 ay mas mababa kay 0. Lahat ng nasa kanan ni 0 ay mas mataas kay 0. Okay. So, anong inequality symbol ang dapat nating gamitin dito? In comparing 0 and negative 1. Okay, that is correct, greater than. So, 0 is greater than negative 1. Okay, next. Negative 2 compared to negative 5. Again, look at our number line. Okay, kung ang pinag-uusapan natin ay comparing to negative numbers, mas malapit kay 0, sa negative numbers, mas mataas ang value. Okay, so sino ba mas malapit kay 0? Si negative 2 ba o si negative 5? Okay, that is negative 2. So, meaning, negative 2 is greater than negative 5. Okay? Last one. 1/2 compare to 4/3. Okay, that is less than. Okay, 1/2 is less than 4/3. Let's start now discussing quadratic inequalities. So, for the objectives of our lesson, the learners will be able to, number 1, illustrates quadratic inequalities. And number 2, solves quadratic inequalities. For the most essential learning competency or MATH, so we have solves quadratic inequalities with the code of M9AL-IF-2. Let's start now discussing quadratic inequality. So, a quadratic inequality is mathematical statement that relates a quadratic expression as either less than or greater than another. Let's have an illustrative examples. So, number 1, 2x squared plus 4x minus 8 is equal to 0. So, as you can see, there is no inequality symbol. Okay? The symbol given here is equal sign. So, it is not considered as a quadratic inequality. Okay? Next, number 2. 3x minus x plus 4 is greater than or equal to 0. Meron nga tayo ditong inequality symbol na greater than or equal to 0, but it is not a quadratic inequality also. Because the highest exponent given here is not 2. Okay? So, kapag ito'y sinimplify natin, magiging 3x minus x plus 4 is greater than or equal to 0. So, that will become 2x plus 4 is greater than or equal to 0. It is considered as a linear inequality, not a quadratic inequality. Okay? Next, number 3. X squared plus 4x minus 5 is greater than 0. So, it is a quadratic inequality in one variable because the symbol used is an inequality symbol and the highest exponent is 2. Okay, so let's have quadratic inequality in one variable. So, a quadratic inequality in one variable is an inequality that contains polynomial whose highest exponent is 2. So, the general forms are the following, where a, b, and c are real numbers with a is greater than 0 and a is not equal to 0. Okay? So, these are the forms or the general forms of quadratic inequalities in one variable. So, we have ax squared plus bx plus c is greater than 0. Ax squared plus bx plus c is less than 0. Ax squared plus bx plus c is greater than or equal to 0. And ax squared plus bx plus c is less than or equal to 0. In solving quadratic inequalities, we need to find its solution set. The solution set of a quadratic inequality can be written as a set and can be illustrated through a number line. So, to illustrate the solution set on the number line, we need to consider the inequality symbol used in given quadratic inequality. Okay. So, kung mapapansin nyo, kapag ang symbol natin is less than at greater than, makikita natin ito sa number line. Hollow circle or open circle or unshaded circle. So, pag sinabi nating hollow circle, the critical points are not included. Hindi kasama. Okay? Ang ating critical points. Pero, kapag ang ating given na symbol sa quadratic inequality ay less than or equal to or greater than or equal to, solid circle ang ating makikita sa number line. So, meaning, ang ating critical points are included or kasama. Okay, so let's have the example. So, we have here the verbal phrase, the inequality, and the graph. Okay, kung babalikan natin ang ating horizontal number line, ito ang ating 0, tatandaan, lahat ng nasa kanan ni 0 are all positive numbers at lahat ng nasa kaliwa ni 0 are all negative numbers. Okay, so let's say we have here the inequality x is less than 2. So, meaning, lahat ng numbers na less than 2 ang ating hinahanap. Okay? So, if we have to look at our graph, okay, ito ang ating positive 2, hollow circle siya. Ibig sabihin, 2 is not included in our solution set. And ang arrow ay papunta sa kaliwa. Kasi ang sabi sa atin, x is less than 2. So, meaning, all real numbers that are less than 2. Okay. Next, second one. X is greater than negative 2. Okay. So, titignan ulit natin ang ating inequality symbol. Greater than, lahat daw ng numbers na mas mataas kay negative 2. Or all real numbers greater than negative 2. So, dahil greater than yan, ibig sabihin, mula kay negative 2, okay, papunta sa kanan ang ating arrow. Okay? So, hollow circle siya. Ibig sabihin, si negative 2 ay hindi rin kasama sa solution set ng x is greater than negative 2. Okay? Third one. X is less than or equal to positive 1. Okay? Ibig sabihin naman nito, all real numbers less than or equal to 1. So, si 1 ay kasama, okay, sa solution set. So, kung titignan natin ang ating graph, solid circle K1. Okay? So, dahil solid circle yan, papunta sa kaliwa. Okay? Kasi lahat daw ng real numbers na less than or equal to 1 ang ating magiging solution set. Okay? Last one. X is greater than or equal to 0. So, ano ibig sabihin nito? Ang solution set naman daw natin are all real numbers greater than or equal to 0. Equal kay 0 at mas mataas kay 0. So, solid circle siya rito kay 0. Okay? And, ang way niya ay papunta sa kanan. So, ibig sabihin, lahat ng positive numbers. Okay? Kasama si 0, ang solution set ng x is greater than or equal to 0. Continuation tayo sa quadratic inequality. So, if a number line is divided into 3 regions, the two numbers that divide it are called the boundaries. Or, in other words, ito tinatawag natin na critical points. Okay? So, yung boundaries or critical points ang tawag. If the boundaries are indicated with hollow circles, yung kanina, then they are not included in the set. If they are indicated with solid circles, then they are part of the set. To solve quadratic inequalities, the following procedures can be followed. Number 1. Transform the given quadratic inequality into quadratic equation. So, make sure that to express it into standard form. Okay? Next, number 2. Solve for the roots or the critical points. So, you may use the different methods in solving quadratic equations. So, na-discuss na natin yan. Yung factoring, completing the square, quadratic formula. Next, number 3. Use the roots or the critical points to obtain the intervals. Number 4. Choose a test point in each interval to determine the solution set. Okay? Number 5. Graph the solution set. And 6. Check the obtained solution set in the original inequality. Let's have the first example. So, we have x squared plus 7x plus 10 is greater than 0. Okay. Tatandaan natin, sabi dun sa step 1, we need to transform the inequality to equation. So, yung ating inequality symbol ay gagawin nating equal sign. So, magiging x squared plus 7x plus 10 is equal to 0. Next, yung step 2. Factor the quadratic expression. So, yung ating x squared plus 7x plus 10, ipa-factor out natin siya. So, pwede natin gamitin yung factoring. So, we have here the quantity x plus 5 times the quantity x plus 2 is equal to 0. Factor ni 10 na kapag inad daw natin ay 7. That is 5 and 2. Okay? Kung maalala natin yan, yan yung ating mga naunang discussion. Okay? Then, the sign of our binomials ay pares na positive dahil ang sign ng ating last term ay positive. So, ibig sabihin nun, ang binomials natin ay positive, positive, okay, or negative, negative. But the sign of our linear term is positive, kaya ang sign ng binomials natin ay parehas na positive. So, we have the factors, the quantity x plus 5 times the quantity x plus 2 is equal to 0. Next, equate each factor to 0. Okay, so we have to use the zero product property. So, we have x plus 5 is equal to 0 at saka x plus 2 is equal to 0. So, by using APE, we can now solve for the value of x. So, dahil x plus 5 is equal to 0 to, so we have x is equal to negative 5. Okay? By using the APE. Yung x plus 2 is equal to 0. By using APE, we have x is equal to negative 2. So, si negative 5 at si negative 2, yung tinatawag natin na critical points. Okay? Or the boundaries sa ating number line. So, let's try to graph it in a number. Okay. So, nakuha na natin kanina ang roots ng quadratic equation ng x squared plus 7x plus 10 is equal to 0 na negative 2 and negative 5. So, babalikan na natin yung ating quadratic inequality na x squared plus 7x plus 10 is greater than 0. So, yung ating roots na negative 5 at negative 2, ang tinatawag na natin ngayon na critical points or boundaries. Okay? So, we need to plot it in our horizontal number line. So, para malaman natin kung hollow circle or solid circle ang ating gagamitin, babalikan natin yung ating inequality symbol. Since na ang ating inequality symbol ay greater than, meaning hollow circle siya. So, the critical points are not included in the set. Okay? So, let's put on hollow circle on negative 5 and hollow circle also on negative 2. Okay? So, sa ating steps kanina, dahil we have here the critical points, hinahati ng critical points into 3 regions ang ating number line. Okay? So, nasan yung tatlong yun? Okay? So, yung unang region, yung nasa kaliwa ni negative 5. Okay? Yung pangalawang region ay yung nasa gitna ni negative 5 at ni negative 2. At yung third region ay yung nasa kanan ni negative 2. Okay? So, kailangan natin kumuha ng isang number sa bawat region para magsilbing test points natin. Ano ba ang trabaho ng test points? So, ang test points ang nagsasabi sa atin kung aling region ang solution set ng ating quadratic inequalities na given. Okay? So, dito, sa unang region, doon sa kaliwa ni negative 5, kukuha tayo ng isang number dyan. Pwedeng negative 7, negative 6, negative 8. Okay? So, bahala tayo dyan kung anong gagamitin natin na magiging test point. Okay? Now, another test point na kukuhanin natin in between of negative 5 and negative 2. Okay? And another point also dito sa right side ng negative 2 o yung ating third region. Okay? So, pwedeng negative 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on. Basta part siya ng third region. Okay? So, let's say we choose negative 7 dito sa first region. So, ang gagawin lang natin ay i-substitute yung negative 7 sa x squared plus 7x plus 10 is greater than 0. So, yung negative 7, ipapalit natin sa x. Okay? So, kapag nag-true ang ating solution dito, then, yung first region ay part ng solution set. Okay? Pero kapag nag-false, okay, ang ating solution, then yung ating negative 7 is not part of the solution set. Pwede po bang gamitin negative 6 or negative 8 sa first region? Hindi negative 7? Pwede naman. Okay? Basta part siya ng first region dito. Based doon sa ating quadratic inequality ha. Okay? So, ayan. If x is equal to negative 7. So, substitute natin. Okay? So, yung negative 7, ipapalit natin kay x. So, we have here negative 7 squared plus 7 times negative 7 plus 10. Is it greater than 0? Okay? So, negative 7 squared, that is equal to 49. 7 times negative 7, that is equal to negative 49. Plus 10, is it greater than 0? So, 49 minus 49, that is 0. So, 0 plus 10, is it greater than 0? So, 0 plus 10, that is equal to 10. And 10 is greater than 0. So, it is a true statement. Okay? Next, pili tayo sa second region. So, pwedeng negative 4 or negative 3. Pwede po bang fraction? Basta in between noong ating given na two critical points. Okay? So, let's say we choose negative 4. So, tulad dun sa first region na negative 7, yung negative 4 ay ipapalit din natin dun sa x ng ating quadratic inequality. Okay? So, we have negative 4 squared plus 7 times negative 4 plus 10. Is it greater than 0? So, negative 4 squared, that is equal to positive 16. 7 times negative 4, that is equal to negative 28. Plus 10, is it greater than 0? So, 16 minus 28, that is equal to negative 12. So, negative 12 plus 10, is it greater than 0? So, negative 12 plus 10, that is equal to negative 2. And negative 2, is it greater than 0? That is false. Okay? Lagi niyong tatandaan sa inequality symbol kung saan naka-open ang ating inequality symbol, yun yung mas mataas ang value. Okay? Last one. So, let's proceed on the third region. Let's say we choose 3. Pwede ba, ma'am, 0? Pwede naman. Pwedeng negative 1, pwedeng 1, pwedeng 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay? Basta, part siya ng third region. Based sa ating quadratic inequality, ha? Okay. So, if x is 3, okay? So, kumuha tayo ng isang point sa third region. So, papalitan ulit natin yung x dun sa ating x squared plus 7x plus 10 is greater than 0 ng positive 3. So, we have here 3 squared plus 7 times 3 plus 10. Is it greater than 0? So, 3 squared, that is equal to positive 9. And then, 7 times 3, that is equal to 21. Plus 10, is it greater than 0? So, 9 plus 21, that is equal to 30. Plus 10, is it greater than 0? So, 30 plus 10, that is equal to 40. And 40 is greater than 0. Therefore, it is a true statement. Okay? So, based on our test points, ang unang region at yung third region ang ating solution set. Okay? Kasi doon nag-true yung ating test points. Okay? Lahat ng nasa kaliwa ng negative 5 at lahat ng nasa kanan ni negative 2 ang solution set ng x squared plus 7x plus 10 is greater than 0. So, pag sinulat natin siya into interval notation, we have here the open parenthesis, negative infinity. Infinity means endless, okay? To negative 5, close parenthesis. Bakit siya close parenthesis? Okay? Kay negative 5. Kasi ang ating inequality symbol ay greater than. Ibig sabihin, not included siya. Okay? Union, open parenthesis, from negative 2 to positive infinity, close parenthesis. Okay? Next. Okay, let's have example number 2. We have x squared minus 3x minus 4 is less than or equal to 0. So, again, we need to follow the steps. So, number 1, transform the inequality to equation. So, yung x squared minus 3x minus 4 is less than or equal to 0 ay magiging x squared minus 3x minus 4 is equal to 0. Okay? Next, factor the quadratic expression. So, we have here the quantity x minus 4 times the quantity x plus 1 is equal to 0. Okay? Third step, equate each factor to 0. So, magiging x minus 4 is equal to 0 and x plus 1 is equal to 0. Okay? Use APE to solve for x. So, Sa x minus 4 is equal to 0, by adding both sides by positive 4, we have here x is equal to 4. So x plus 1 is equal to 0. If we add both sides by negative 1, so we have here x is equal to negative 1. So 4 and negative 1 are what we call the roots of the equation x squared minus 3x minus 4 is equal to 0. Okay. So, dahil nakuha na natin ang roots ng quadratic equation ng x squared minus 3x minus 4 is equal to 0 na 4 and negative 1, babalikan na natin ang ating quadratic inequality na x squared minus 3x minus 4 is less than or equal to 0. So, yung negative 1 at 4 na roots kanina ang magiging critical points ng ating x squared minus 3x minus 4 is less than or equal to 0. So, we have to plot it in our horizontal number line. Since na ang ating inequality symbol ay less than or equal to, ibig sabihin, si negative 1 at si positive 4 ay part ng solution set. So, or they are included. Okay? So, it means that si negative 1 at si 4 ay solid circles. Okay? So, eto na yung ating dalawang critical points. So, nahati ulit ang ating number line into 3 regions. So, eto yung nasa kaliwa ni negative 1, yung ating unang region. Yung nasa gitna ni negative 1 at ni positive 4, ang ating pangalawang region. At yung nasa kanan ni positive 4. Okay, so kukuha ulit tayo ng test point sa bawat regions para malaman natin alin sa tatlong regions na to ang magiging solution set ng ating quadratic inequality. Okay, so let's say ang kinuha natin sa first region ay negative 2. So, substitute lang natin si negative 2 doon sa ating quadratic inequality or sa variable x ng ating quadratic inequality. Once na nag-true, ulitin natin, ibig sabihin, part siya ng solution set. Yung region na yon ay solution set. But if nag-false, then yung region na yon ay hindi solution set. Okay? So, balikan natin to. So, if x is equal to negative 2, so substitute natin yung x, papalitan natin ng negative 2. So, we have negative 2 squared minus 3 times negative 2 minus 4, is it less than or equal to 0? So, negative 2 squared, that is equal to positive 4. Okay? Negative 3 times negative 2, that is equal to positive 6. Minus 4, is it less than or equal to 0? So, 4 plus 6, that is 10. Minus 4, is it less than or equal to 0? So, 10 minus 4, we have 6 is less than or equal to 0. So, always remember kung saan naka-open ang ating inequality symbol, yun yung higher number. Okay? So, 6, is it less than or equal to 0? That is false. Okay? Next. Pili tayo ng isa dito. Okay? So, sa first region, ibig sabihin, dahil nag-fall siya, ang first region ay hindi part ng solution set. Okay? So, pili tayo ng isa sa second region. So, let's say, x is equal to 0. So, papalitan natin ang x ng 0. So, we have here 0 squared minus 3 times ang x na 0 minus 4, is it less than or equal to 0? So, 0 squared, that is 0. Minus 3 times 0, that is 0. Minus 4, is it less than or equal to 0? So, 0 minus 0, that is 0. Minus 4, that is equal to negative 4. And negative 4, is it less than or equal to 0? Okay, that is true. Okay? Next. Pili tayo ng isa rito. So, let's say that is x is equal to 5. Pwede naman si 6, pwede din si 7, pwedeng si 8. Okay? So, if x is equal to 5, so yung 5 o yung x, papalitan natin ng 5. So we have here 5 squared minus 3 times ang x na 5 minus 4, is it less than or equal to 0? So 5 squared, that is equal to 25. Minus 3 times 5, that is 15. Minus 4, is it less than or equal to 0? So 25 minus 15, that is equal to 10. So 10 minus 4, is it less than or equal to 0? So 10 minus 4, that is equal to 6. 6, is it less than or equal to 0? That is false. Okay. So saan lang nag-true? Okay, doon sa ating second region. Okay? So, meaning, ang solution set ni x squared minus 3x minus 4 is less than or equal to 0 ay yung ating second region. Okay? Ito. So, from negative 1 up to positive 4 ang ating solution set. Kasama si negative 1 at si positive 4. Okay? So, in writing it into interval notation, we have your negative 1 is less than or equal to x, and x is less than or equal to positive 4. Okay? So, questions? Kung kayo ay may tanong or clarifications regarding this topic, huwag kayong mahiyang magtanong sa inyong mga math teachers. Okay? Thank you for listening.